Oh, what is the upskis, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GXHockeyCast. We're on episode 133. Patrick freaking Waugh of My Little Hockey Show, where once a week I go through all the major news and what's happenings around the NHL, mainly focused in on the Leafs and the Flames. Those are my two favorite teams, but I'll be talking about all 32 teams on this podcast. And today, we're in the new year. We're halfway through the season here. And we're going to take a look at some teams that are shockingly still in a playoff mix, or possibly even a playoff spot, depends when you listen to this. Regardless, we're going to take a look at some of that. I saw a very interesting article for bold predictions for 2025. We're going to take a look at that. And, of course, some other little news and tidbits all sprinkled in throughout. But let's start off with the Montreal Canadiens, y'all. This team is heating up. They are heating up, y'all, and you better watch yourselves because they are not far behind in the playoff spot right now. Let's take a look at the overall, let's do the wild card. There we go. So the Montreal Canadiens are, they are behind the Tampa Bay Lightning, who are on a bit of a skid right now. They're on a current 4-game losing streak, not looking very good. And, oh my goodness, there's the Montreal Canadiens, 41 points. Tampa Bay has 42. Now, Tampa Bay has 3 games in hand. And in terms of the other Atlantic teams, you got the Bruins at 45. The Leafs and the Panthers, they're a little bit further ahead. Panthers at 50. And the Toronto Maple Leafs currently leading the Atlantic with 54 points. My goodness. So, probably not going to reach those top 2 spots of the Atlantic, but they're 4 points behind the Bruins. They have 2 games in hand on the Bruins. They're right now they're hot, and Tampa Bay is not hot. You got the Senators. Ullmark is injured, so they could take advantage of this. Holy crap, everybody. The Montreal Canadiens. Let's take a look at what's going on with these guys. What's been going right? Well, right now they're 19, 18, and 5. They're 5th place in the Atlantic, which is, it's over 500 in the NHL. No, they haven't won as many games as they lost, but currently, they're 1 game above NHL 500, so that's pretty cool for Montreal Canadiens fans. I don't really know what Montreal was expecting. They were expecting a jump forward, and then didn't happen. They brought in Patrick Laine. Regardless, 3 goals, 4 per game, that's 18th. Goals against is 3.38, that's 26th. Power play is 17th at 22. Power plays are going crazy this year. 22% makes you 17th in the league. In a lot of other years I've been watching hockey, that would be a top power play. And their penalty kill is 82%. That's 11th. So they got a pretty damn good penalty kill going on right now. But the thing that has been the most impressive about the Montreal Canadiens lately are the teams that they have been beating. So the really cool stat is they beat, the last 4 Stanley Cup champions in a row. They took down the Panthers. They shut them out. They took out the Tampa Bay Lightning 5-2. They defeated the Vegas Golden Knights. So, holy shit. And then they took down the Colorado Avalanche. We're not going to worry about that loss to Chicago. Let's just pretend that didn't happen. But, they took down the Panthers, Lightning, Golden Knights, and the Colorado Avalanche. Throw in the Canucks on top of that as well. I know the Canucks are going through their struggles right now, but wow. Those are some major teams right there that they have taken down. They're beating teams that they're supposed to lately. They beat Buffalo. They beat Detroit twice in a row, which is hard to do. So, yeah, man, other than that 9-2 loss that they had to the Pittsburgh Penguins, lately Montreal is doing very, very well. They're bouncing back quickly after losses. When they lost to Columbus, they came back and rattled off 3 wins. They had a loss to Chicago. They came back with 2 more wins. And their next games, more fairly tough opponents. You got the Washington Capitals. That is on the 10th. Okay, so they got a few days break here. That's pretty nice. So they got the Capitals up next, and then it's a back-to-back with Dallas. So that's another big test for the Montreal Canadiens. We'll see if they're able to get through that. Come out with 4 points, 3 points, no points, 2 points. We'll see, man. But right now, the Montreal Canadiens are kind of on fire, man. They're really putting together some impressive victories. And it all kind of started when Patrick Laine got back into the lineup. So that is awesome. Where is Patrick Laine here? So in 18 games, He has 8 goals and 2 assists, 10 points. And how many of those goals he has 8 of those points are power play points. So we know he's been really heating up the power play for the Montreal Canadiens, heating up the offense for the Montreal Canadiens. And yeah, it's just a great story to see fucking Patrick Laine back and happy playing hockey again. So that's awesome. Lane Hutson's really started to turn it on. He went through a bit of a slump there. He had a kind of a hot start, went into a bit of a slump. And now he's starting to put together some consistent games, which is great to see for the Montreal Canadiens fans. I imagine they're loving that. But in 40 games, this guy's got 30 freaking points, man. That is outstanding for a first year. I believe this is not his first year. First year defenseman. He's already at 30 points, and we're only halfway through the season. So I don't think if he puts up 60 points in a rookie season, damn, dude, that is it's definitely going to have something to say at the Calder conversation. But yeah, dude. Cole Caulfield, he's up to 22 goals now, 38 points. Suzuki is at over a point per game now, so that's great. He's a plus. So Suzuki's on fire right now. Jake freaking Evans, wow, look at him go. He's got 23 points in 40 games, 10 goals. Can't say I expected him to be in the top 5 scorers for the Montreal Canadiens right here, but he is, and that's pretty cool. I believe he also has a contract. His contract is ending, so they kind of have to figure out what they're doing with Jake Evans, and Jake Evans making it kind of hard for them to maybe move off of him with his 10 goals right now. We have Slafkovsky not playing as good as we were expecting because he was so hot down the stretch last year, but he could turn it on at some point. 37 games, 22 points. Looking for a bit more there. You'd like a little bit more out of Matheson, 20 points in 38 games. Not bad for a defenseman. Yoel Armia getting it done. Gallagher and Heineman have 10 goals apiece, so they're getting some depth scoring. I did notice that Arbor Xhekaj, he's not playing a lot this year. Like, he's getting in the games, but he's not playing a lot of minutes. He's playing, I've seen some, sub 10-minute games. He's in and around, 11, 12, 13 minutes, something like that. So, I don't know if I know he's just kind of a bit of a spark plug back there for them, but I thought he would play more minutes than that. You got Kirby Dach actually playing healthy this year, knock on. That's as hard as I can knock right now. I don't have my hands are full, but Kirby Dach playing a healthy season. Only 14 points. You would like some more out of that, but right now, man, they're putting together wins. Let's take a look at the goalies. Sam Montembeault, 33 games played, 15-2 record, and an 898 save percentage. So yeah, sub 900. Not abysmal, but yeah, he's below average right there with that save percentage. 3 shutouts. That's pretty damn nice. Now, his stats might be hurt from some really bad games that the Habs had early in the season, but lately it looks like he's playing really well. Let's take a closer look. Let's see if I can get into the game logs here. Here we go. So, yeah, even for the last 5 games, he's only had 2 performances above 900. He's got an 844, a 913, 931, an 846, and an 800. So, that's bad goaltending right there, man. An 800, yikes. Okay, so why is this team winning right now? What's going on here? They're just putting together some wins. This is semi-impressive. Also, this Jacob Dobes kid, who, he came out of nowhere with 2 big wins. He got a shutout in one of those wins. Who the hell is this kid? And they waived Caden Primo. He's gone now. He got claimed by somebody. And yeah, so no more Caden Primo. He's gone. They got this Jacob Dobes kid. Let's see what's going on with him. A 6'4" goaltender. My goodness. 23 years old. He was a 5th-round draft pick in 2020. But, yeah, dude, his last couple games here, massive wins against the Habs, and he shut out the Avs, and he shut out the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers with a 34 save shutout. My goodness, all right. Again, very small sample size, literally only 2 games, but holy shit, this guy, very impressive so far in that small sample size, so that's really, really good. Regardless, Habs are putting together wins right now. They are taking advantage of a season where everyone's really packed in tight together right now. The standings are very tight, but they can take advantage, man. The Bruins they're still lingering, but they're not like, there's an opportunity there. The fucking Tampa Bay Lightning are diving down. I don't expect that to keep happening. You got the anomaly that is the New York Rangers. They've just given up completely, so there's an open spot there. Yeah, dude, there's absolutely an opportunity for the Montreal Canadiens to sneak into a playoff spot here. I would love that. I would absolutely love it. In a perfect world, it'd be great to have the Habs and the Ottawa Senators get in there, but with the Ullmark situation with the Sens, we'll see there. But right now, the Habs are winning some very impressive games. We'll see if they can keep it going. But yeah, dude, if they continue to put up 3 wins for every loss, yeah, they're going to make the freaking playoffs, and that is going to be very, very interesting. And what would that first round matchup be? Would that be the Leafs and the Habs? Like, oh my goodness, that would be fucking crazy. But keep your eyes on the Habs, y'all. They're not dead, and there's a lot of other teams that are not dead, such as the Pittsburgh Penguins, everybody. Oh my goodness. So they're right behind the Montreal Canadiens. They have 41 points as well. And I can't recall if I put the Pittsburgh Penguins like in a coffin, buried. Their 2024-25 season's Dunyan rings. They're done. It's over. And here they are. They're back in it, man. They're not in a playoff spot. They're right back in the fight. Right there with the Canadiens, everybody, man. They got 41 games played. So they have some games in hand on the Bruins. Just one, so not much. But they're playing good, man. They're playing pretty good hockey right now. They're getting some good performances. Let's take a look at their last as I say that, they're currently on a 3-game losing streak, so that's, I guess we'll just shut my mouth right here, but they're in the hunt, man. They are in the hunt. That 3-game losing streak's definitely not going to help them right now, and they lost to the Detroit Red Wings. You don't like that. The Panthers and Carolina, so Panthers, Carolina, some good teams right there. They are rattling off some wins there, though. Like, they had that huge 9-2 win over the Habs. They had a 4-game winning streak after a 3-game losing streak, so they're a bit up and down still, but they're trying, man. You know that Crosby, Malkin, Letang, they're pushing, they're trying to get everybody, and all the players around them are trying their best, man. So Pittsburgh, 17-17-7, fourth in the Metro. That's technically their NHL 500, which I know it's ridiculous, but that's how Gary Bettman would like it. But their goals for, they're 15th. They're doing well. Their goals against is abysmal. They're last place in the NHL. 3.63 goals against per freaking game. So they got to figure out the goaltending somehow. Power play's fantastic. 25.6, fifth place in the NHL. And their penalty kill, pretty good, 81%. So if they can get a goalie, if they can get a save, man, like Pittsburgh would be in a playoff spot right now easily. Like, they got their special teams are great. They're scoring pretty damn good. 3 goals. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just they can't keep the puck out of their own net. And when you look at the who's in net, I mean, yeah, it's not ideal. It's not the best. They got Tristan Jarry and Alex Nedeljkovic kind of sharing the role. 18 and 17 games played respectively. Jarry has an 886, Nedeljkovic 888. So yeah, not good enough. That's well below NHL average and damn near just not playable. Only 8 wins for Jarry, only 6 wins for Nedeljkovic, and Blomqvist has gotten into 8 games. He's got a 904. He's the best goalie on paper, statistic-wise, but he is a young goaltender. And yeah, so what the fuck, man? Like, they got to figure out the goaltending here. Jarry just isn't it. I feel like there was an opportunity at some point they could have gotten rid of him, and they didn't. He did go down to the AHL and kind of did some work down there. Came back up, played okay for a little bit, but yeah, still not getting the job done. I would say in net for any of the Pittsburgh goalies aside from Blomqvist. But what do they do there? Is there a possibility for a John Gibson to come over? He's kind of the biggest name goaltender out there. I mean, that would be really interesting, but is that the answer? Regardless, Sidney Crosby's still getting it done at his age, point per game. Rickard Rakell has really turned it on. He's starting to get crazy. 18 goals, 33 points. Malkin's got 32 points. He's doing fine. He started out really, really hot. One of the more underrated players ever, Brian Rust. He's got 15 goals, 29 points in 34 games. He's been great. Erik Karlsson, he's got 28 points in 41. Michael Bunting has turned it on. He is getting it going. He was invisible for like the first half, and yeah, now he's getting it going. He's up to 12 goals, 23 points, so not bad right there. You got Chris Letang, 16 points, nasty minus 18. That is not very good at all. He does have 7 goals, which is pretty good for a defenseman at this point in the season. They waived Jesse Puljujarvi, so that didn't work out. Philip Tomasino's been pretty good when they brought him in, so yeah, man, there's just like a bunch of guys when I look at this team. Like, there's just so many fucking names on this team. You got, who the hell is St. Ivany? Like, you got Pickering, you got Ryan Shea, Valtteri Puustinen, you got Matt Nieto, Lars Eller, he's gone. Nola Chari, I like that guy, wish he'd come back. Kevin Hayes hasn't really done anything. Cody Glass hasn't really done anything. Blake Lizotte, Anthony Bolivier hasn't really done anything. So, yeah, it's definitely a lot of heavy lifting by Sidney Crosby and the boys. But I really don't know how this team is hanging in there. It's definitely Sidney Crosby's will and his leadership. But I'm not really convinced that this team could make the playoffs, or they really should. I'm just, I'd love to see Crosby have another kick at the can, sure, but I am more inclined to, I would much rather see a team that hasn't been in there in a long time. And the Pens, like this team, it's not going to make a big impact in the playoffs, man. They haven't made it past the first round since they won the Cup. So, and that was in 2016-17, so they haven't made it past the first round in well over a decade, or about a decade now. So, and Crosby's not getting younger. It's not going to get easier. The first round's the hardest round to get through. So I would much rather see another team get that opportunity. But it is really cool to see the Pittsburgh Penguins hanging around. But that goaltending, dude, the goaltending is so bad. They got to figure out that goaltending. If they can get someone, like, I know there's a lot of names out there, but at this point, I would just take a flyer on anybody. Like, anyone at this point is going to be a bit better than Tristan Jarry and Nedeljkovic, I would think. So that's what I would be looking for Pittsburgh. Try and get some defensive and goaltending help for sure. And we'll see, but I'm still not convinced that the Penguins can get a playoff spot. But it is cool. They're hanging around, getting in, being in the fight. It's a tight race, and that's making it very enjoyable. But also, another thing with the Pittsburgh Penguins, there's just so many glaring minuses on the team. Like, Brian Rust's a minus 20. Like, there's a lot of minus in the high teens. Like, yeah, and their goal differential is rather rough. It is currently a minus 27, and that's not awesome. And their last 10, they are 4-3-3, so not all that impressive. Back to Montreal, they're 8-2-0 in their last 10, so very impressive. And their goal differential is down to a minus 14, so it's getting better. But yeah, they still got some work to do right there, but it's better in Pittsburgh, so there's that. All right, let's move on to the next team that is a little bit surprising that they're still in this race. And that team is the Columbus Blue Jackets. They're still hanging in there. I mean, honestly, we can go all the way down. We can just keep going because the Flyers are still right there with 39. The Red Wings are kind of still in it. Like, it's more surprising that these teams, like, especially the Blue Jackets, like, let's go there. Because the Blue Jackets coming into the season with the Johnny Gaudreau situation, a very awful tragedy. And yeah, Columbus had every excuse in the book to just lay an egg this season and just let it be, and no one would give them shit for that. It'd be totally fine. They had every excuse to just not perform, and they're overperforming. They're doing fantastic. They're in a playoff race. They're not in a playoff spot, but they're doing so much better than I feel like anybody had them listed for. And I also saw, just a quick note, the guy responsible for the tragedy who was driving the car. I just saw an article there that he pled not guilty, of course. But anyway, so that sucks. But regardless, the rallying behind Johnny Gaudreau, like the whole NHL did it, but especially Columbus, their fans, Calgary, their fans. And yeah, dude, like their goals for right now are they're 6th place in the NHL. And I will talk about some players on this team in a moment. But 17, 17, and 6, 5th place in the Metro, NHL 500. Sure, why not? But they're scoring at will. They can't keep the puck out of the net, though. They're really bad at that. 31st in the league, so they're right there with Pittsburgh. Power play's really good, 22%, and their penalty kill stinks. But, dude, Kirill Marchenko, this guy right now, oh my goodness. This guy's been fan-frickin-tastic. 40 games, 43 points, 17 goals. He's been outstanding. I picked him up in free agency. He has been a stud ever since, and yeah, he is a scoring machine right now. Zach Werenski, give this guy a Norris right now. This guy's been ridiculous. 45 points in 40 games. If his season ended right here, that's a damn fine season for a defenseman. 12 goals, 33 assists already, man. Damn, Zach Werenski is crushing it this year. And I think it's just because he's fully healthy, man. He's playing healthy, and yeah, we're seeing the best Zach Werenski that's ever been seen. Sean Monahan has been outstanding. Point per game player, 40 games, 40 points. Wow, you can't ask for more. And then Dmitry Voronkov, this guy as well, alongside Marchenko, has been a stud. He's only played in 31 games. He's got 26 points, 15 goals, man. So this guy's well on pace for a 30-goal season. And so is Marchenko. He could push for a 40-goal season if he keeps it up. Cole Sillinger's been pretty good for a young guy. 22 points in 39 games. You want that to get a little bit better. Kent Johnson's been really good. He's only gotten into 26 games, but 22 points. Ivan Provorov seems like he's going to get traded. We'll see. Like, if Columbus can keep rattling off some wins and remain in a playoff picture, maybe they'll hang on to him. You got Adam Fantilli, still hasn't exploded, hasn't really broken out just yet. 17 points in 40 games. So they still have, they have the Adam Fantilli. They got Cole Sillinger, still waiting for that breakout. So if they start to break out, there's still potential they could this season. They could have a strong stretch down the final stretch there. So those guys are still just kind of sitting in the wings. Yeah, dude, there's been some really underrated, underappreciated performances out of the Columbus Blue Jackets. I don't hear anybody talking about Zach Werenski barely. Nothing when it comes to Norris conversation. I think absolutely he's got to be in the Norris conversation right now. He's a +8. Yeah, dude, this team is doing way better than they should be. Let's take a look at their NHL standings here. Let's see, where the fuck are they? Oh, found them. So currently they're a -8 in the goal differential. Not too bad. Their away record, though, is horrible. They really got to figure out how to win on the road. 4-12-3 is the record there, so they got to clean that one up. Last 10, 5-4-1, so, really nothing special. No real indication that they're on their way to a big run or anything like that, but Columbus is hanging around, man. I think that's really, really cool for Columbus and their fans, because obviously it's been a fucking rough go here, but their fans have always been there, and they're always some of the best, man, some of the best. Now, in terms of goaltending still an issue for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Merzlikins, an .888, just not quite good enough, quite a bit below NHL average. Daniil Tarasov has gotten into 10 games, and he is an .857, so that's damn near unplayable. I believe he is a younger goaltender, so, just 25 years old, so, there's still room to grow with that one. Regardless, yeah, Columbus could use some help in net. Is the answer John Gibson? Is that the answer for everybody who needs goaltending help? Possibly. I don't know. I don't know what goalies are really out there right now, in terms of big-name goalies. You could do some goalie swaps, who knows? Maybe Tristan Jarry in a different place plays better. Who knows? He did play good at one point. He did earn that $5 million contract at some point. But, yeah, dude, Columbus hanging around there. And I'm not convinced that they're going to make it either, basically because of the goaltending. If you just don't have strong goaltending, it's really hard to make the playoffs, man. That's just basically how it is. Your goaltender is one of the most important, if not the most important part. And if you're getting sub, 880 goaltending, it's not going to get it done. But dude, what a performance out of Werenski this year. He's been phenomenal, and wow, what a story for Monahan. For him, it's so sad that he's having a season like this. And man, what if Johnny was there too? Johnny could have been right there with them, could have been having a fantastic season. The boys are back together. So sad, the tragedy. But man, great job from Columbus, their fan base, the organization, everything that they've done to rally behind the tragedy. And they're doing a great job, man. And they're not giving up. They're not in the bottom of the basement of the league and just, being miserable and woe is me and all that shit. No, they're competitive. They're trying. and I got to give them the respect for that. So well done from the Columbus Blue Jackets. And speaking of well done to Team USA at the World Juniors. They take home the gold, winning against the Finns. The Finns in the final, they win 4-3 in overtime by the looks of it there. So congratulations to Team USA. They were the favorites going into it. They're the team that I picked to win the tournament. Really happy to see the Finns there at the end. Sadly, I didn't get an opportunity to watch much of the tournament. I just was busy, man. I was busy. I didn't get a lot of the tournament. And admittedly, I didn't have a lot of hype going into it. Once I saw the rosters for Team Canada, I was like, okay, they didn't put out their best team. Like, we know there was a lot of guys missing from the team. Like, I'm pretty sure they could have had, like, Celebrini could have been there. I don't know about Connor Bedard, but they could have had other players like that. I know Tidja Ginla wasn't there. There's a lot of guys that weren't there. Regardless, they're kids, man. They're kids. So I don't like seeing, like, the hatred that's getting thrown towards the World Juniors Team Canada team. That's completely unnecessary. Yes, it's a devastating loss. They lost at home ice against, the Czechs. No one wants to see that. It was a very unfortunate game. They lose in overtime 4-3. A very unfortunate penalty that cost them the game, man. Penalties kind of cost Canada the tournament this year. And it happens, man. Like, I mean, overall, just the whole thing wasn't any good. Like, they weren't practicing as a team. They had opportunities to have practices. They didn't take them, which was like, why are you not doing that? The team showed that they didn't have very good chemistry. There wasn't a lot of mojo with the lineups. The best thing that Canada had going for them, which was a big question mark coming in, was the goaltending. Goaltending was great. They had great goaltending. Just the discipline was bad. There was no real mojo with the lines. And yeah, they just couldn't come together in a short amount of time, man. Like, you got to remember, these teams get put together quickly. They got to figure everything out quickly. And these are like one game you're eliminated tournaments. So, like, yeah, it's an unfortunate loss. People can be upset, but don't fucking berate the kids, man, and call them, being mean to kids. They're kids. There was a ridiculous amount of pressure on them, man. Like, you're playing for Team Canada. There's so much history there. There's so many amazing memories and times and moments with Team Canada and the World Juniors, all that great stuff. Everyone wants to be a part of that. Absolutely. But it's changing, man. Other countries, USA, Finland, Sweden, they're getting stronger every year. And yeah, dude, Canada isn't just a guaranteed win every single year anymore. So it's getting it's getting harder. And I don't feel all that bad about it because I know Canada didn't put out the best team. And I'm not putting any shame towards the team that they put out there. That's the team that they had. Not everybody was available, so it is what it is. They lost, and it was unfortunate, but I'm happy for Team USA. Really happy that Finland got through the Swedes in their semifinal matchup. Every game was close, man. It looks like every game was close, except for the semifinals between the USA and the Czech. That was a 4-1 game. But, yeah, dude, like, the Czechs, another big win. They take the bronze home over the Swedes. So I imagine Sweden's probably a little bit disappointed. I would imagine the Finns are rather satisfied with a silver medal, and USA, baby, with the gold. Like, yeah, dude, USA is on the rise in terms of hockey development. They're out of control. You look at the Olympic team, what that team's looking like, it looks amazing. So yeah, dude, I'm not shocked that this happened. It is what it is, but yeah, Canada will come back. There's always another tournament, man. They'll come back and they'll try again. But yeah, it's sad that they didn't win, but you can't win every year. So it is what it is. And congratulations to the USA. They did it. All right, let's talk about some teams that are in trouble. Let's talk about the Ottawa Senators. Now, it's not dire just yet, but the fact is, Allmark is hurt. Allmark is the huge reason why the Ottawa Senators are rattling off a bunch of wins lately. And yeah, it doesn't look like he's coming back like all that soon. I think it's been over a week now, and he's still not skating. That is the big concern. I believe they said it was like a 2-week situation, but the fact that he's not skating yet, so that's a bad sign for Allmark and the Ottawa Senators. What is Ottawa going to do? Are they going to try and find a goaltender to step into that role, or are they going to roll with the goaltenders that they have right now? I believe it's Forsberg that they have, so Can Forsberg be the goalie? Can he hold the fort down? I mean, they have lost their last 2 games, which is not ideal. You don't want that. But holy shit, they got a lot of goalies here that have been. They have 4 different goalies that have played for them. They have Maralainen and Sogard, Matt Sogard. Very cool name. But yeah, man, it's going to be tough for Ottawa to get through this without Ullmark. They lost to Dallas, and then they got shut out by the St. Louis Blues in back-to-back games. So, yeah, not a great start. They got Detroit, Buffalo, and Pittsburgh up next. So those are winnable games. Pittsburgh is turning it up a little bit. Detroit, since the coaching change, they've been rattling off some wins in a row as well. And Buffalo is still kind of Buffalo. So those are, I would say, winnable games. They're not going to be easy, but I think Ottawa could win those games, and it's going to be a huge test for Ottawa, man. They're going to have to rally, and if I were Ottawa, I would definitely, take these games and try and focus on defense and try your best to give your goaltending the best opportunity that they can. And their goaltending overall has been really good, 12th in the league for goals against. Their goals for seems to have come down. It's 20th in the league now. I feel like they were much higher than that before. Power play is still really good, and their penalty kill needs a lot of work. So Ottawa still needs some pieces to become a very convincing playoff team. I think some more help on the blue line would be great. And who couldn't use some more forward depth? Why not? Throw in a little bit of that, and definitely a healthy Ullmark would be the most key part for the Ottawa Senators. Got to keep your eye on Ullmark, man. See how soon he is going to be coming back. Last I heard, he wasn't skating, and that is not a good sign. So you don't like to hear that. And speaking of not liking to hear that, we got the Vancouver Canucks. Their struggles continue, man, and the injuries are really starting to pile up now for the Vancouver Canucks. Demko is down again. They got what's his name? Fucking Hronek's been out. Pettersson's been dealing with shit. Fucking everyone's been dealing with shit. But obviously the big thing with the Canucks is the drama between Pettersson and JT Miller. And it seems like every day the conversation changes as to who is potentially getting traded. Now it seems like JT Miller might be the more willing trade candidate. But last I heard, JT Miller has a full no-move clause, and he's only willing to waive it for the New York Rangers. Hey, okay, well, that's not bad. That's not bad. There's definitely something there with the New York Rangers. Maybe you do like Keandre Miller, and what kind of centers do they have there? Could you bring in a Zibanejad? Could you bring in, I doubt you're going to get Trocheck. That would be amazing. That would be perfect, honestly. But I doubt New York would want to give up Trocheck. Trocheck just, if I was the Canucks, man, I would target like Trocheck and Keandre Miller, like those two for JT Miller. Yeah, I'd do that in a heartbeat. Abso-fucking-lutely. Zibanejad, Keandre Miller, I'd be a little more hesitant, but I think I would probably end up doing that too. So would the Rangers do that though? If I'm so for the Vancouver Canucks, then it sounds like probably not. You would have to sweeten that pot, I imagine, a little bit there for the New York Rangers. That could be a pick, could be another player, could be something. I don't know, but both those teams could use a shakeup right now. We know the New York Rangers, they've just given up completely. So there's that. Their goalie's hurt. So, hey, maybe there is a potential trade between New York Rangers and the Vancouver Canucks. I could see that, but they definitely need a center coming back. And I think Zibanejad, he's a struggling center, could use a change of scenery. I don't know if Vancouver would be a great scene for him. It's a very intense market. And, I feel like it's a more intense market than New York. And they've already been pretty hard on Zibanejad in New York. And, yeah, I don't think they would be all that nice to him in Vancouver if he showed up and played the way that he's playing right now. But that could be something, man. But we know that the shit is hitting the fan right now with Vancouver. It's just so obvious that there is a very rough rift between Miller and Pettersson, because the moment Miller went down with injury, Pettersson started playing out of his mind. The second Miller came back, Pettersson went invisible again. So, there's definitely something there for sure, absolutely. But yeah, dude, the Canucks, they're not playing so hot right now. The hockey guy, he's a Vancouver Canuck fan, and yeah, he's like, I'm getting mad watching this team play right now, because, I mean, last year, admittedly, everything did kind of come easy for the Canucks. Like, everything was going right. Everyone seemed to be performing higher than expectations, and everything just went really good for the Canucks last year. This year, different situation. Like, there's so much drama, and just, yeah, it's definitely not going as easy as last season did, and yeah, it's hard. And they're just not getting off the wins right now, man. Like, they're losing in bunches, and they're not winning a lot. Like, they lost... Oh boy, yeah, there's a good streak here. So 2 losses, 1 win, a loss, a win, 3 losses, a win, 2 losses, 1 win, and 2 more losses. So up next, they got Washington, Carolina, and Toronto, so it's not going to get any easier. And they're on the road. That helps, because they're still really bad at home. They're struggling to win games in front of their home crowd, which is never good. You don't like that, and obviously that's because of the pressure, man. There's pressure at home. It's not easy playing in a Canadian market. They're now at a -6 differential in goals for, goals against. They're 3-3-4 in their last 10, not good enough. And their home record is 7-8-6 overall, just not good enough. Road record really good, 11-4-3. Nothing wrong with that. If they can, again, I say this every time I talk about the Canucks, take that road game and bring it home, baby. Just make it work. Who cares if it's not as flashy and fun? Who cares? I think your fans want wins more right now than a flashy highlight play. So Vancouver, they're on the line. They're second wildcard team right now. So they are in a playoff spot, but it's close. Calgary's right behind them. St. Louis is climbing up. They're right behind them too. Utah's climbing. And the Anaheim Ducks. Maybe next week we'll take a closer look at the Anaheim Ducks, because they're another team that I could have spent some time with as like, yo, this team is not out of it. Like, they have not given up. Kind of similar to last year, man. Like, the Ducks hung around for a little bit. I believe it was last year, and then they completely gave up. But speaking of the Ducks, I guess I can mention that they extended Frank Vatrano. That's an interesting move right there. So Frank Vatrano was a pretty favorable-looking trade target for last season. It didn't happen. Favorable trade target for this year, and it didn't happen, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen, because he got a 3-year extension, $4.57 million. And, hey, man, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Now, he's not scoring the way that he did last year. With the Ducks, he had 37 goals last year in 82 games. Right now, he's got 11 goals in 38 games, 23 points. So, you know, he's probably going to hit like 25-ish goals, something like 20, 25 goals. And yeah, for under $5 million, that's a pretty good little bargain right there. And everyone seems to really like Frank Vatrano. Like, he's a little bit gritty. So yeah, dude. And this is kind of a newer trend that is happening with these kind of up-and-coming teams, where they would normally sell them off and be like, oh, we'll just get an asset back. They're more or less, they're just going to keep these guys, I would think, and just try to keep the team competitive and try and, yeah, just keep them around. Like, yeah, you could have gotten something pretty decent for Frank Vatrano, but what's another pick? Anaheim doesn't really need any more picks. They need a player. They need impact players, and why not keep them for that price? Absolutely. That's a well-done deal right there for Anaheim. I like that. But New York, the Rangers, on the other hand, just looking at the standings, they have fallen so far, man. They're all the way down there with Buffalo. Like, you are down in the dumps with the Buffalo Sabres, who had a 13-14, how long was that losing streak? Like, you're down there with them, bro. You're only 2 points ahead of the Buffalo Sabres. That's pathetic. Absolutely pathetic what the Rangers have done with this season. They've thrown it away. Or whoever's responsible for this. I mean, just the whole organization. Just what a fucking disaster. 3-7-0 in their last 10 games. They're a -10 now in the goal differential. Shesterkin's hurt, and everything is fucking awful for the New York Rangers. I would guess that Kakko is probably pretty satisfied right now that he got the hell out of there. Trouba's probably laughing his ass off right now, just watching this from a nice, safe distance in California, you know, maybe drinking a Mai Tai or something like that. Like, yeah, dude, I think some of those guys are pretty happy right now to not be in New York, because it's been so freaking bad for them. And I can't say, like, it looks like now they've just kind of given up, and it is what it. How much further down does it go for the New York Rangers? Are they going to become a lottery team? Is this going to happen? Are they going to end up getting themselves a top 5 pick? Because how are they going to get themselves out of this right now? Like, at this point, it's what are you going to do? Like, what the fuck are you going to do? Like, it really does just seem like they're going to just be a lottery team at this point. Like, I can't see this stopping. So, yeah, how far down does it go for the New York Rangers? Are they going to get themselves, maybe they get themselves another first overall pick and they get the Hagens, or they get someone really good. Maybe that's what New York needs, just another young guy that they can force in the NHL too quickly and never give him any power play time. Anyway, that's fine. Let's talk about the Winter Classic. Why don't we? Did anyone even realize there's a Winter Classic? I couldn't give one shred of a singular shit about the Winter Classic. I've never really enjoyed them. Maybe the first few were quite fun. The only one that I remember fondly was the one, I believe it was Jose Theodore, and he had the toque on his helmet because it was so cold. That one was really cool. And the Sidney Crosby one. And I guess the one Toronto one in Detroit was pretty cool. But regardless, Winter Classic is not the draw that it used to be. Its ratings were way down this year. And who's shocked? Like, they put it, like, the scheduling has been atrocious for the NHL this year. They always shy away from any competition. They're like, oh, geez, is there a parade that day? Is there a spelling bee? Oh, shit, we don't want to go up against that. So let's just put this big Winter Classic game on a random day in the middle of the day, and there you go, everybody. We'll barely freaking advertise for it. We'll barely talk about it, and it's Chicago again, who are fucking terrible, and St. Louis, who is just like a team right now. Like, they won the Cup fucking 5 years ago, but I don't think anyone was really all that excited about this one. And the from what I hear, the action on the ice was trash. Like, Chicago put on a fucking terrible effort in their home ice, home field, Wrigley Field, whatever. They got booed off of the ice. Just abysmal, man. Not good at all. So it just continues to get rougher and rougher for Chicago as well. And I feel bad for Bedard. He's having a really rough year. Not really points-wise or anything. Like, he's doing fine there in my books. It's just the pressure's getting to him already. And, like, the team is a long ways away from being competitive, man. Like, there's a lot of work to do with the Chicago Blackhawks. And, yeah, it looks like it's going to be, like, another 3-5 years before we start to see a really competitive Chicago Blackhawk team, unless some very lucky shit happens. And speaking of lucky shit, let's talk about some bold predictions for the year of 2025. And there's a very interesting bold prediction for the Chicago Blackhawks that we will discuss in here. So, on the Winter Classic, I don't give a shit about it. I don't think anyone really gives a shit about it all that much. The NHL's got to figure out a way to make it cool again if they can. I don't know. They're not really good at doing that kind of thing. But they haven't really been trying. It's just been the outdoor game. Yep, we're at some field outdoors, and there it is. It's not fun to watch on TV. I put it on. I watched it for like 5 minutes just to see what it looked like. I was like, yep, it's a field. But it just doesn't look... It's not fun on TV because you don't see any fans. They're far away. And yes, I hear time and time again that the being there is a blast. Great. I wasn't there. So it is what it is. And I'm not going to go to one. So there you go. I'm not interested in the Winter Classic. Doesn't seem like anyone else is all that interested in it. And yeah, what can they do to make it all that more interesting? I don't know. Fucking advertise it? I don't know. Regardless, let's have some fun and let's talk about some bold predictions for 2025. This is a Sportsnet article, so this is not my ideas, but I'm going to steal their article, and I'm going to read it for y'all because I thought it was very, very cool. All right, let's get there. So Ryan Dixon wrote this article. Thank you very much. Very good read right here. These are my favorite ones to read. I just love bold predictions, man. Like, things that just make you go, what? All right, so let's start with some bold predictions that already defend. Okay, so let's start here. So this one already passed and did not happen. So Connor Bedard will join David Pastrnak and Tyler Toffoli as the only NHLers to record a hat trick in an outdoor game when he plays in the Winter Classic, which happened. He did not get a hat trick, so yeah, off to a rough start. Ryan. All right, Ryan. Team USA will successfully defend its World Junior Championship title in Ottawa. Not that bold of a prediction, and it happened. That's exactly what happened, so well done. This one I like. Zach Hyman will be an injury replacement on Canada's Four Nation face-off squad and lead the tournament in goals. Oh, baby. I would love that. Just a big ol' fuck you from Zach Hyman to all the haters, and that would be really cool. Could it happen? I mean, yeah, absolutely. Someone could absolutely get hurt in the next 4 or 5 weeks, whatever, how long it is till the tournament. And yeah, Hyman, he's been playing better. He's got the connection with McDavid, so if they line those guys up together and they fucking start tearing it apart in the tournament, I could see Hyman scoring the most goals in the tournament. Sure, why not? He's like 7 goals, 0 assists. Like, boom. Why not? All right, we got Sweden will beat Canada in the final of the Four Nation face-off. That's a pretty bold prediction. I think Sweden has a really good team. I think all 4 teams are quite good. The Finns obviously have like the weakest looking team on paper, but they can have a great defensive strategy and surprise some people. But yeah, man, I think all 4 teams have a chance to win. I think the Americans are a little bit favored because of the goaltending, but sure, I could see Sweden winning. The Calgary Flames, after slipping out of the postseason picture, will look around the bottom of the league, see a bunch of teams stuck in the mud, and decide to stick with some core pieces rather than work to deal the likes of defenseman Rasmus Andersson and center Nazem Kadri. So, yeah, dude, like the way that's kind of the pickle that Calgary's in right now. They're kind of right on the fence. They're not far away from a playoff spot. They're not, completely out of it or anything, that they're close to a lottery spot. So their decision is, like, do we keep these guys and hope that it's good enough and we can, get into a playoff spot in a weaker year around us, or do we take the opportunity, sell off these assets that we have right now and get as much as we can for them and look to the future? So, yeah, it's definitely a pickle because, we've seen other teams do the rebuild and it doesn't go well all the time. And we've seen other teams hang on and they stick in that icky dicky in the middle of the league spot, like Pittsburgh and Ottawa and Detroit and all those teams and shit like that. So, yeah, dude, I really couldn't tell you which direction Calgary's going to go. Huberdeau's starting to heat up again, so, like, you don't want to mess up that. If Kadri's playing with Huberdeau and he's playing well, like, you really don't want to mess that one up because you need that Huberdeau to try and even out that deal a little bit. But yeah, that's an interesting one there. I'm fine either way with it, honestly. If they keep Kadri, if they can get rid of him, it's probably the best move because that contract's not going to age very well. I think they should keep Anderson. Like, he's still young enough. He's still got a lot of great years in him. I don't think there's really any reason to move him. But, yeah, it's a tough one. We got in a go-for-it move, the Utah Hockey Club, which has endured difficult injuries on the back end, will kick off trade deadline season by dipping into its ample stack of futures and dealing for defenseman Ivan Provorov from the Columbus Blue Jackets. So I kind of teased that. Provorov's been on the trade block, on the trade boards for a bit now. And yeah, man, Utah's already made some pretty big moves on the back end. And I wouldn't be shocked if they went for another one. And Provorov is one of the more prominent defensemen on the trade block. So yeah, dude. All right, we got Trevor Zegras. Here we go. This is one of my bold predictions. That's pretty similar. Trevor Zegras' tumultuous time in Anaheim will finally come to an end when the Anaheim Ducks and New York Islanders are able to connect on a swap in March. So, interesting. Yes, the New York Islanders could use some young offensive flair. They have Brock Nelson, who could potentially get traded, so that would be a nice replacement there. But I pictured Zegras going. I forget what team I had him going to where they needed a center. But regardless, I have Zegras getting traded this year as well. Not to the New York Islanders though, but that'd be cool. The Buffalo Sabres will not trade Dylan Cousins. I hope they don't either. But also, I kind of want them to because I want to see it. I want to see Cousins become really good. But I don't want another thing bad to happen to Buffalo. It's just getting ridiculous at this point. Alex Ovechkin will score 2 goals in Game 82 for the Capitals to become the NHL's all-time leading goal scorer with 895. So they believe that Ovi will get it done this season, and in epic fashion in the final game with a 2-goal performance. I kind of think that it's going to happen next year. I think I kind of prefer it to happen early next season, and we could kind of kick off the year with a bang and get it done there. But again, I wouldn't be all that shocked if Ovi did it. He's back from injury now. He's putting the puck in the net pretty consistently still. And yeah, dude, so he's getting close. He's like, 22, 21 goals away. He's not far. We get Leon Draisaitl will claim his first Rocket Richard trophy. That could definitely happen, man. It's like Matthews having a bit of an off season. Pasternak's having a bit of an off goal scoring year. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be Leon. Sam Reinhart's in there as well. So yeah, that'd be really cool for Leon to get one of those. He does not have one. That's, I would like that. We have Sarah Fillier will win a world championship with Canada, followed by a PWHL title with the New York Sirens in her first year in the league. Ooh, so I'm guessing that she was the first overall pick or something like that in their draft. And yeah, that would be really cool. That'd be great for the PWHL, who had a fantastic debut season and look to continue their success. And that would be a fun story for sure. I can't say I know anything about Sarah Fillier, though, or Fillier. Not only will the Ottawa Senators make the playoffs, we'll get a battle of the Tkachuks in round 1 as they face off with the Florida Panthers. Oh my goodness, that would be amazing. That would be probably one of the most fun first rounds ever. Like, I would put that up there with a Philadelphia-Pittsburgh matchup. I love when those two teams meet in the playoffs. It's so entertaining. Maybe not so much now, like it was the old like Claude Giroux versus Sidney Crosby. I loved it. It was so fucking good, but this would be awesome. Now, I would also like the Battle of Ontario to go down, but I think the Battle of the Tkachuks is better than the Battle of Ontario. I want it. I want it so bad. The Boston Bruins will narrowly miss the playoffs for the first time since 2016 in the aftermath. Captain Brad Marchand will sign a 2-year free agent pact with the Vegas Golden Knights. Oh my God. I would love that. I would love to see that. I highly doubt it'll happen. I do not see Brad Marchand leaving the Bruins. I think he's a lifelong Bruin. He has a cup, so there's no real reason for him to leave. So but that would be so fucking funny, man. The Bruins, they would totally turn on Marchand, and I would love that first game with Marchand against the Bruins, and like he would probably get suspended. It would be amazing. The Los Angeles Kings and Edmonton Oilers will meet in the first round series for the 4th straight year. And that's it. They don't have a prediction on who will win. I'll throw in the bold prediction. Los Angeles is going to beat them this time. What do you think about that, Edmonton? I kind of hope not, but you know what? 4th time's the charm, right? So LA will get it done. The Toronto Maple Leafs will not lose in round 1 of the playoffs. That I can agree with. I think this team will get past the first round. Whoever they're up against, I think they will get it done. Whether it's Tampa, Florida, Ottawa, Boston, they're doing it. They're doing it. I feel very good about this team this year, as long as injuries are on our side this year. Utah's boldness will pay off. The team will make the postseason and delight its new fans before losing a heartbreaking Game 7 in round 1. Not crazy to think Utah could make it. They're in the hunt as well, man. There's a lot of teams that aren't out of it, and if Utah does make a big splash at trade deadline, they could, man. They have the assets to do so. They have a ton of picks and cap space, so they can make a big splash if they feel like they're right there. Why not do it and make your first season in Utah a banger and make it into the playoffs? That'd be so much fun. We got the Anaheim Ducks will win the NHL draft lottery and pick first overall for the first time in team history. Wow. So they're on a different mindset as to where I am with the Anaheim Ducks. They're in a surprising spot right now in the league. They're still competitive for a playoff spot, but hey, they could still be like outside looking in, a few spots behind, not all the way down in the bottom of the basement. They could still win the first overall pick. And they also have there's another prediction for this one as well. We'll get there, but first, no team that made the conference finals last year, that's Dallas, Edmonton, Florida, and the New York Rangers, none of those teams will make it that far in 2025. So they're all expecting early exits. Doesn't look like the Rangers are even going to make it there. So yeah, but their bold prediction, is that the Winnipeg Jets will make it to the conference finals this year. And I really hope so that Winnipeg can shake off that first round stigma that's on the team, like the Leafs, like Penguins, like so many other teams that can't get past the first round, Minnesota. And yeah, I want them to go far. I want Hellebuck to fucking unlock his regular season and bring that to the playoffs, and I want success for the Winnipeg Jets this year, absolutely. We have the London Knights will win the Memorial Cup 1 year after losing the 2024 final, and Easton Cowan will be the tournament MVP. I definitely want that to happen because Easton Cowan is a Leaf prospect, and that would be key. Quinn Hughes will narrowly miss out on becoming the first defenseman to win the Hart Trophy since Chris Pronger in 2000, finishing second in MVP voting. So I do have a thing I will do at some point when I get there. I will talk about my Hart nominations, and we'll take a look at like 10 players that could be in that conversation. And I absolutely have Quinn Hughes in that conversation, considering the shit that is going on with Vancouver right now, and he has done nothing but produce at a ridiculous level, and he's the captain of this team, and he's been extremely just calm and collective about the whole entire situation. So yeah, he's definitely an MVP in my books. Will he win it? It's very, very difficult when you have guys like McDavid and Draisaitl in the league, but who knows, man, who knows? All right, so back to the Ducks. The Ducks will select Corey Perry clone Porter Morton first overall. With that first overall pick, they're apparently going to win. Very interesting. I've not heard this Porter Martone name yet, so it does kind of seem like an open draft. We don't have a solidified number 1 overall pick just yet, which, you know, those drafts are pretty interesting. I enjoy those drafts a bit more than when you have a Connor Bedard, Celebrini, clear-cut number 1 guy. I like, you know, mixing it up and being unpredictable. Like the Montreal draft, that was wild, so on and so forth. All right. After cracking lots of singles on the UFA market in the summer of 2024, the Chicago Blackhawks, obsessed with improving the team's fortunes, will hand out a couple of blank checks on July 1st and emerge with a big fish in the form of either Mitch Marner or Mikko Rantanen. Oh, fuck no. Absolutely not. There's no way you're prying away a Mikko Rantanen or a Marner from those organizations to come to Chicago at this point. There's just no fucking way. Their team is too far away. Even if they added in Marner or I mean, you're not going to get them both, but if you added in one of those guys, that's still not enough. It's still not enough, man. Yes, it would make Connor Bedard happy, but it wouldn't be enough. The team wouldn't be deep enough. They would still need to add more and more and more. Could they steal one away? Yeah, they got the money to do it. I don't think that Rantanen or Marner would accept a offer sheet from those guys or a contract from them. I just don't think it's going to happen. Why leave the comfort of a perennial, you know, championship potential team, and Toronto right on the cusp of it? We know Marner wants to be there when they win championship. I don't think he's leaving, so it'd be really interesting though. So yeah, I think Chicago will take a shot. I don't think it'll happen though. John Tavares will remain with the Maple Leafs on a 3-year deal for exactly half of his current $11 million cap hit. John Tavares at 5.5, love it. Absolutely love it. That would be amazing. And I think, yeah, dude, I don't think that's all that bold. I think that's probably what's going to happen. With the collective bargaining agreement between the NHL and the National Hockey League Players Association set to expire the 2025-26 season, the two parties will hammer out an extension ahead of training camp next September to preserve and extend a period of labor peace. So no lockout. Don't think that's all that bold either. I really don't think they will do a lockout. Regardless of whatever problems they're going to have, they're going to hammer it out. They will not lock out this league right now. It would be a terrible time to do it, and they know that. So there should not be. I'm like 95% sure there won't be a lockout. And yeah, that's all their bold predictions. Some pretty good ones in there, some interesting ones. I like all the Leaf-related ones. Those sound pretty good to me. But yeah, what do you think about those bold predictions? Which ones do you think will come true and which ones not so much? All right, let's talk about a couple of side things here that have been going around the league. We got, where is it? Matthew Knies. Got to talk about Matthew Knies. Dude had a ridiculous 5-point game against the Bruins. That's going to cost the Toronto Maple Leafs a lot of money when it comes to contract talks. Oh, he fucking wrecks the Bruins. Oh, we got a Bruin killer finally. Yeah. So that's going to cost us. Regardless, Matthew Knies had a ridiculous game. Hat trick, 5 points versus the Bruins. Awesome. So he's doing good. McCabe not doing so good. He's on the injured reserve right now. He got slammed by Hathaway. Fucking bullshit right there. Can't believe that doofus didn't get a suspension, but there it is. Fucking McCabe is injured, so looks like we're going to get more of Benoit, maybe some more Timmins. I think the Leafs blue line will be okay. It's not ideal. McCabe and Tanev have been a fantastic shutdown pair for the Leafs. I feel like the only shutdown pair I have ever seen in my Leafs history, and that's great. But not great that he's hurt, but yeah, he'll be back in a few weeks by the looks of it. He's got a concussion. And speaking of making a comeback, Jonathan Toews is discussing the possibility of a return to the NHL. That's great. Everyone's happy to hear it. Will it happen? Who knows? I mean, it's very optimistic. It's he hasn't played in a long time, and it's not going to be easy. There's a lot of things that got to go right, a lot of work that's got to get done. Regardless, I believe the Leafs have reached out and said, "Yeah, dude, we're absolutely interested. If you make it back, we'd love to have you." And dude, that'd be so sick. Jonathan Toews, like third line center, man, that leadership, that defensive responsibility, those face-offs, like, oh my goodness, that would be an amazing ad for a playoff run for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Whoever gets them would be awesome. Maybe it'd be even awesome if he went back to Chicago to help out Connor Bedard and everything. That'd be really cool as well. He's got all of his cups, so he's got nothing to prove. He's done everything, so I think he just wants to come back and try and finish his career on his terms, which is totally respectable. Very, very cool. And yeah, I think that's everything I want to talk about. I, yet again, will push the Hart conversation to another day. And there we go, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. You're the best. You want to be even more of the best, make sure you're reviewing and liking the podcast. Share it around with a few thousand of your friends and enemies. Doesn't matter. Let everybody know about it and all that great stuff. I upload all these episodes to the YouTube channel, GamerGX Videos. Go over there, subscribe on YouTube, drop a comment. You want a question answered live on the podcast, send them on in. Drop a comment on YouTube. We got a Twitter page, email address. All that stuff is in the links down below in the description, so you can go there, follow along, subscribe, all that great shit. And yeah, I'd love to answer some of y'all questions. In terms of what else we got going on with the podcast this week, I believe I'll be doing a 13 Sentinels review for the GamerCast this week. That, or I may do a list. It depends. I'm not done the game yet, so if I don't happen to finish it, I'll have a list or something. There'll be something for y'all. Regardless, if there isn't, there's so many episodes you can go back and listen to. There's the Xyz Award Show. Listen to that one. I just put up my backlog list of the games I hope to get done in 2025, a very optimistic list, but I'm going to try my best to knock out as many of those games on that list as possible, and I tossed in some other gaming resolutions I would like to have this year in 2025, so feel free, go listen to those episodes whenever you'd like. There's numerous of them and all that great stuff, so I'll be back again with some GX Plus, guys.